Hello everyone, my name is John. Today I'm going to be talking about my hooks assignment. I'm going to be a adolescent history teacher, so I would like to make my lesson on the American Revolution. I think the American Revolution is a very interesting topic to discuss. Of course, it's about our nation's founding, and I think it can also be extremely engaging and interesting for students to learn about. There's a lot of different lessons you can do and little activities you can make to make the lesson much more enjoyable. So first, for my lesson, I'm just going to ask the kids straight out, okay, what is the American Revolution? Who fought who? How powerful is the British Empire, the colonies, and maybe any other things that come up in the class. I'd ask the students, as patriots, would they feel that they would be much better off without England controlling their trade, and that they wouldn't have to be forced to buy products manufactured from England? A lot of the acts that were passed previously and now regarding taxes were very unjust in their opinion, and if they feel this justifies their cause as patriots. Or would they be loyalists to the crown, considering separation from England unthinkable? Many of the traditions that they had, the clothes that they wore, even the language, all were exactly the same as those in England. I would ask them what led to their decisions to be either a patriot or loyalist, or neutral, which would be they remain neutral in these cases. What led them to their decision, and I would ask them to write down their reasoning. After this, I would reveal some statistics behind the American Revolution in reality, based on those at the time. I'll tell them that roughly 30% of the population were patriots, 33% neutral, and 33% loyalists at the time. Going into this activity, I would assume that most of my students would lie either in the patriot faction or the neutral faction. Because we are American, of course, this would be our obvious decision. Some students still might vote for the loyalist side. After this, I would ask my students about perspective and bias. I would like to get my students to really consider how their perspective as Americans would make them vote more towards the patriot side, or maybe why some would stay neutral in the situation. I would also like to ask them, how do you think other students around the world would vote if they were doing this activity, let's say in Germany or Japan or Brazil, how they would vote? I would also like them to consider how some students in England might vote during this activity. With this lesson, I would really try to hammer down the point of bias and modern perspectives on issues like this. Basically, for a lot of students today, they would definitely feel that they've heard stories like the Boston Tea Party, Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, among many other American Revolutionary stories, and hear the bravery and acts of courage and kind of almost mystical actions done during the American Revolution that gave the Patriots the upper hand and really got them sparked up to join the Patriots side. I really want to get the point across to the students that during activities like this, they really have to put themselves in the perspectives of those at the time. They can't consider the information from the modern day perspective, but they have to consider it from a colonist in 1770 right before the revolution. Or they could consider the information from the perspective of an English person in England at the time. As a history student, I think it's really important to understand that we cannot take issues out of history and look at them from the modern perspective. We really have to look at things as the way people did in the past and try to form a better understanding in this manner. I think this activity would do really good as students would realize, wow, considering all this information, the Patriots really did not have that big of a chance of winning, and actually a lot of people at the time did not side with their cause. It was only a third of the population in reality, and 2/3 of the people really either veered away from it or were totally against it. This would be the perfect activity to start in the beginning of class, and I would leave it open to my other history teachers in this class to consider this as an activity, as it could really spark a lot of interest right away and also gets people raising their hands, interacting with each other, and maybe even causing a little bit of debate in the class. Hope you guys like my activity and you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.